Hello, I'm Rachel Kelsall, the Customer Services Director at NFU Mutual, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Nick Turner, the Group Chief Executive. And Nick will be talking to us today about the 2024 financial results. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks, Rachel.
Great to have you here. Let's start by looking at 2024 as a whole, and how's the year been?
Well, it's been a good year, I have to say. If you think back over the previous years, we really have experienced some challenging conditions for the insurance industry. We've had to contend with all kinds of political volatility on both a UK and a macro basis. We've also had to deal with stock market volatility. And on top of that, we've had to deal with some pretty challenging weather conditions. But I'm pleased to say that on top of all of that, in spite of all those conditions, in 2024, we had a great year. We made a profit overall of £360 million. And if you think about how we make money as an organisation, we make money in two ways, really. The first way is through the underlying return that we get on our asset base that backs all of the insurance risks that we take on. We need to make sure that we're here for our members when they need us, and therefore we need a large amount of money to cover all of those risks. But we don't let that money sit idle. We invest that in a whole variety of assets. And the second way is through underwriting. So in other words, the risks that we take on and the premiums that we charge. So essentially, if the claims and expenses that we have over a year are less than the premiums that we've received, we make a profit. And last year was a good year. We had £168 million worth of profit from underwriting. And that has enabled us to pay out £238 million in mutual bonus. And mutual bonus is the way that we reward our members for their loyalty. So those members that have been with us for more than 5 years, they're getting the maximum percentage of mutual bonus, which is currently 10.5% off their renewing insurance premium terms. So a real tangible benefit of mutuality.
So just thinking about the general insurance results and understanding those a bit more, what can you tell us about how it's been, and particularly for our members?
Well, if you think about the things that are impacting the insurance company, as I discussed earlier, we've got things that impact the cost of claims. And the cost of claims has been increasing steadily over the last few years, fueled by things like the Ukraine crisis coming out of COVID, the Brexit impacts to the supply chain, and just generally the cost of doing business in the UK at the moment. The result of all of that, though, has been that our premiums have increased over the year to 2.459 billion. But don't forget, in that figure, that would include the new customers that have come to us as well. So it's a combination of inflationary impacts and new business that we'd written in 2024. And the thing that I'm really pleased about is, in spite of the fact that inflationary impacts have affected us and affected our members, and it's been really challenging for everybody, the loyalty that our members have shown us has been really valued and tremendous. So 94.6% of all of our policies renewed in 2024, which is an incredible number given the backdrop that I've described. Looking at it from your perspective, there's been some really interesting challenges for customer services with all the storms and just keeping all of our customers in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. I think having just recovered from all the weather events we had in 2023, we kicked off January with 3 more named storms. And again, towards the end of the year in December, we had 2 more. So that meant the teams having to deal with 11,000 customer claims. And I think, the regional service centre staff, the agency network, they did a fantastic job looking after our customers, whether that's making payments for emergency things that they needed, whether it's finding them alternative accommodation, or whether it's indeed helping them get on and start the repairs as quickly as possible. The agents were really there in the communities supporting customers at their time of need. Okay, Nick, and of course, we have the life side of the business. So life insurance, pensions, investments, and financial advice. How did those perform in 2024?
It was a slow start, actually, for 2024. It was largely caused, that slow start, by the instability in the stock market. People don't like to invest when markets are moving around a lot. And so it was an interesting time. And then we got to the autumn statement and everything changed. Rachel Reeves changed inheritance tax, not just for pensions, but also for agricultural property relief and business property relief, which affected farmers and businesses all over the land. And of course, immediately there was a real demand for information and what do we do, how's this affecting us, right the way across our customer base. So our financial advisors have been incredibly busy trying to help bring clarity to that situation. Our customers need us more than at any other time when that complexity is at its maximum as it is now. And so our financial advisors are bringing reassurance, calm logic, and good technical skills to help people really understand what they can do to mitigate some of the impacts of the inheritance changes and to make sure they're optimised their affairs.
Okay, so outside of insurance, what are the other things that we're doing to support communities?
Well, as a mutual, we take our role in the community very seriously. I mean, we're not only just there to help people in their hour of need when something's gone horribly wrong, but also we like to make a really positive difference to the communities that we live, work and operate in. One of the ways we do that is through contributions to charities. And in 2024, we made a contribution to a number of charities of £3.25 million. That went to a number of different sources, including the Charitable Trust that we give out donations all over the country, the Agency Giving Fund that really helps money find a great home in the local communities, but also things like the Farm Safety Foundation that trains young farmers on reducing risk on their farms and living a safer, healthier farm life. So all of those things are great works that make a real difference. But there's so many other things that we do as well, ranging from fighting rural crime, working with the police, also raising awareness of things like rural road safety. And I think the other thing that's worth talking about is the challenging environment that so many farmers have found themselves in 2024 and into 25. And it's really important that we continue to fund the contribution that we make on a voluntary basis every year to the farming unions. And in 2024, we managed to make a contribution of 8.7 million to the farming unions to make sure that farmers have an operating environment that allows them to make sustainable profits and to feed us all, for which we're incredibly grateful. And I would encourage you to look on the website, because we have a fantastic report called the Responsible Business Report that shows all of the great work that we're doing across the UK to improve things for society as a whole.
So a huge amount of progress in 2024. Are there any other highlights for you?
Well, lots, but I'll probably only mention two, really. The first one, just a very proud moment for us. We received the Which Insurance Brand of the Year award for the third year in a row. And the reason that's so special is because it's voted for by members. They tell us, and Which, what they think of us. And clearly we're getting many things right, because to win that 3 years in a row is a huge accolade. I know you went up to receive the award.
I did.
Really proud moment for us all. And it's a real testament to all the hard work that all of our teams in the agency network and in our business as a whole put in to make sure the service to our customers is absolutely top notch. But the second thing that I'd draw out is the fact that we're investing an enormous amount of money in our infrastructure to make sure that we're not resting on our laurels and that we're thinking about the future and investing in that service that so many of our members cherish. We're making sure that our systems support the agency network to deliver that local personal service. It makes sure we can modernise our infrastructure as well, and also bring online some additional channels for convenience for those members who want to deal with us online. But primarily that will serve us fantastically well for the foreseeable future.
Well, thank you, Nick. That's been a great insight into 2024, and I think really underpins some of the things we're working on. And I really look forward to providing more support for our members this year.
Thanks, Rachel.